Welcome to Weekends Live at Morningside. Gus Reid and Randall.
Welcome.
Randall Sanderson. It's kind of got a nice little ring to it. Got a little bit of a rhyme. So this is a fun thing that I like to do because I like to talk to people about flying and adventure. My podcast, Enter the Unknown, is totally open, free form to talk about whatever you want. Personally, I love like adventure and whatever it means to you. I've been an adventurer my whole life. I've been an extreme big wall rock climber. I've been a paragliding instructor for over 10 years. I ice climb and I snow kite. I love to travel the world. I love psychedelics and all things kind of like new age when it comes to holistic well-being. And I love talking about space, and I'm into sci-fi and fantasy books, but really is, okay, Mojo's coming in here. Hey buddy, you want to get on the video too? Great. Kind of want to open it up knowing that you two have just started your path to become pilots. Gus, you're like almost a P2 pilot. You've had a dozen lessons or something like that.
Probably there or thereabouts.
Maybe you've had 20 flights, something like that. Today is day 2 for you. Got 8 flights. Learning how to fly the head glider, which is pretty epic. All right, cool. So what do you guys think about like learning to fly? Like, what do you think about it? How does it make you feel?
Do you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. I was always one of those people who dreamed about flying.
Yeah.
I've always kind of been into flying and doing bits of it here and there. I've never quite been able to completely fit it into my life. I first learned to paraglide in 1997.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to not quite as far as I got this time.
Oh, interesting.
So at that point, it wasn't P1 and P2. It was elementary pilot and club pilot.
Yeah. Where?
This was in Scotland.
Okay.
Hills near Edinburgh.
Okay. Back in the 90s, that's the heyday.
90s, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This was before the grades as well. It was DHP. I was at DHP 1, 2. I was on.
Yep, classic.
A thing called a Freak's Flare.
Yeah, cool.
It was purple and oval, and it was fantastic. And
oh, wow.
Awful. Very hard.
Never heard of it.
Freex was the company. Freaks. I don't know. I don't think I lasted.
Yeah, shout out to that business that went under.
Yeah, I guess so. I did some flying then in a flying harness, which was about as much fun as it sounds.
Yeah.
And I was a student. Things got busy. I didn't have any money, and kind of fell back out of it. Yeah. But I got time on sailplanes and ultralights and light aircraft. A couple of hours on helis. All things. I just keep trying it. And keep getting back into it.
Yeah.
Soloed in a light aircraft.
Okay.
A couple of years ago.
Okay.
And then ended up taking a short break through injury, unrelated injury, and then noticed how much healthier my bank account looked. And kind of didn't get back to that, and then came back here.
Yeah. Okay. You're being
Morningside
up to your home. Yeah.
Look it up on the internet.
And so, how's the process been? Like, what does it make you feel, and what do you think? Like, are you fired up? Are you scared? Or are you in heaven? Or where are you at with it?
Yeah, I'm very much enjoying flying.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken a while for the ground to click again.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's vastly easier that everybody's flying with these days, The 90s, it wasn't. It was rough.
I can't even imagine. And I've ground handled a couple of gliders. When I first started flying, I had a DHB 1 actually.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the name of that glider. And then I flew some old U-turns as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the technology back then is not even close to what it is now. How old were you in 97?
I was 19.
19? Well, no wonder you didn't in your bank account.
No, I was.
Yeah, that's cool. You got that school still there? The one in Scotland when you learned that?
Yeah, I think that one still is. Yeah.
Okay. That got to be one of the originals.
There were a couple. I think they ended up merging with the Glasgow school. So because they were basically using the same flights.
Sure.
The two cities. So the same flights in between the two cities. So
yeah. Okay. And Randall, you're pretty excited. You're just starting to hang glide. You're also kind of interested in paragliding too. Kind of dabbling your toes in both.
Sure.
He's going to be bilingual.
Yeah.
He already knows the language.
There's different use cases. Yeah. Right. I want to feel different in the air.
Uh-huh.
Down versus like kind of upright.
Sitting in a chair is like Superman.
Yeah. But just getting into it feels kind of like, to me, like my recreational background, a lot of it is in cycling.
Oh, okay.
Just urban cycling.
Uh-huh.
And I think that there is some. Well, then I've also skiing and snowboarding, but and all of those other, it's the commonality of these kind of sports, and a lot of it is just like being in the zone where you like, like the feeling of risk of is like something that kind of comes on in when you're not being present, and if you're present to what your machine is doing, whether it's a bike or a glider, but whatever the thing you're interacting with that is propelling you in space, that's a cool feeling.
Absolutely. Flow state.
Yeah. And so like, even though this is just like my first H1 class, so like I only had maybe a dozen glider flights, something like that. But I noticed that right away was like essentially the training aspect when you're doing it, the experiential learning part of it is like connecting to that experience of flow. So that was very cool to be back in that again. I haven't been biking as much because in my normal life right now, I'm kind of doing the commuter type of thing. But I am going to do the Pan Mass Challenge.
Oh, what's that?
It's a across Massachusetts bike ride for for the I think it's like the Sloan Kettering Foundation.
Okay.
My workplace, we're like a bunch of us are all doing it.
It's like a charity ride, nonprofit race.
Charity ride, nonprofit charity race or ride.
How far?
We're gonna do only like, I think it's like a 67-mile leg or 37 thing. There's they have like 150-mile leg that's different, and then you have to raise different amounts. So anyway, I'll do that in August.
It's all on pavement.
Yeah.
Do people get fully kitted out?
Oh well, yeah.
Proper unitard, like racing, cycling.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna race.
Yes, yeah. It's not really like a race, but people get into it.
Yeah. Okay. How long? 67 months take you?
I don't know. A day.
A day? Like
a day,
24 hours?
No, a day of riding, whatever that ends up being.
Okay.
I actually haven't been riding. I haven't been riding recently, so I need to get back into it and relearn kind of where.
Many hills on the course.
Oh yeah, I mean it's across Massachusetts. I think it's
like Western Mass, very hilly.
Starts in near Worcester, and then goes west.
Yeah. Okay. So that could easily take you 6, 7, 8 hours or something if you're riding.
Yeah, probably 8 hours.
8 hours, something like that. Yeah, that's a hardcore day. I love that the first thing you connected to flying was flow state. It's one of my favorite things I actually love to ask guests about is like, how do you define flow state? How do you like to find flow state? For myself, I can find it in so many ways. It oftentimes is some form of like athleticism where I have to not only challenge my body in a way, but it's so physically challenging and demanding that I also have this incredible mental focus where nothing else can exist. Where to do this well, I have to be so zoned in. I have to fire this like mental laser, this like hyper acuity focus to really be doing only that one thing. And for me, that's real state. I first found that a lot when I was rock climbing because that would be so physically challenged that I'd have to be really, pulling on the hole just in a certain way. I'd have old A plus old B equal move C. If I started thinking about my girlfriend or my car or my job or anything, like game over. You need so much focus. Flying, I think, is not that physically demanding, although there are definitely like mechanical parts of it. There's like a physicality to it where you actually have to be doing a thing, which does take some dexterity, launching and landing an aircraft. Also, when you're flying in the air, thinking about turbulence and those kinds of things. And so that combination of enhanced mental focus with the physical element, to me, is always similar to teaching someone about how to rub your belly and pat your head kind of thing.
Oh, right.
Can you go the other way? You switch it up. Yeah. Okay, now go circles the other way.
Circle.
Circle the other way.
What are those do?
Do whatever you want. Rub your belly, pat your head counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever. And for just a brief moment, you're laughing. And you're like, this is easy. But you do have to tap in for a second. You got to focus and not exactly flow state, right? You're not having like endorphins or some kind of like chemical reaction in your stomach or your brain that's like really giving you the high. Or like, oh, this feels incredible. But do you guys find flow state and anything else to do in your lives?
Like, I mean, I think for everything that we do, we can get into a flow state.
Sure.
Just like fucking computer work has that too. But
Yep.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things here is like, when you're doing an activity that like it calls forth the flow in a sense. It calls you into that state. And not all activities are like that. And some activities are more like are very headspace activities. Like on a philosophical level is pretty amazing. It's like, it's like flying reduced to its purest essence.
Right.
And then you're like, to take flight is like, in a way, it's not, it's like opposite human nature. And in another way, it is like exactly human nature in the sense of modifying, like we, modify our environment to suit our needs and create tools. And from a mechanical standpoint, the creating a new ability, a way of, of being able to exist in the atmosphere and the environment is like through technology. It's like it's pretty cool. So
I like that. I like that perspective. Makes me think of, what we do in this sport. It's like artistry, right? And if you're an artist, you have a specific medium. And so like a climber, the medium would be like the stone, or a surfer, the medium would be the ocean. And as a pilot, our medium as an artist is of the sky, right? And so that's how we kind of use that integration of technology and the wing and the proprioception of our body and our hands and our mind are now connected to this glider that's actually flying through space and the air. Yeah, that's wonderful to transition to, where you go from just a normal monkey with your feet on the ground to this hyper focused and flying. And I think you touched on something that I really liked actually, and it was about risk and how that element drives a much more, I want to say, like, sincere approach with anything you're engaging in, of course, but like trying to get into flow when there's risk involved is way different. And so I think that flow is like a very difficult to get to state that like requires a few of these prerequisites, like physical exertion, mental challenge, maybe a little bit of risk kind of thing.
You think it requires physical exertion?
For my
It
personal
depends.
definition, I do, to try and get those like endorphins and that real challenge. Because like you said, I like to get into good flow, like when you're doing computer work, right? And that's
There's
more like
different-
rhythm kind of.
There's differences in there's probably different qualitative types of flow. Like,
Yeah.
what you're talking about. What this
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And it's like there's tiers, right? Even maybe in music, right? Like you're a singer,
Oh, yeah.
right? And you can get this amazing flow.
Oh,
Well, sing.
almost have to.
You're gonna have to, right?
That's,
You wanna,
that's what it is.
You hear the first verse before you kind of really come back to yourself and realize you don't know what you just did for the last 30 seconds, and then you're-
That's
right?
jazz, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Well, not as much like physical danger. You're not going to get hurt if you screw up and do something wrong. But maybe if you have an audience, the risk is like you have a little bit of fear that it's not going to sound good, or you're not going to do well, or you don't want to put it out there. Break a leg, don't fall off stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking thing.
Yeah. What does flow and risk kind of mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I always associated flow with mathematics. Even when I was
Are you a math guy?
I was. I'm
Do
not.
you like
I'm
feel
not-
math and you're flying and stuff?
It's really different. But I remember like being really young and not really learning arithmetic at like 5 or 6 and not really getting it. And then a couple of times late at night, I was awake running numbers in my head, and like I found prime numbers. We were told what were in school,
Yeah.
and I kind of remember those times as like that felt like a flow state.
That's cool.
Like I didn't know there were prime numbers. I was like, oh, these numbers have got this number of lumps in them, and these don't have lumps. It felt that way for me. I've never gotten it climbing. That's never felt like a flow state to me.
Interesting.
I couldn't really tell you why.
You covered that all?
Yeah, I'm a software engineer.
Okay.
You join us?
So you feel like that as like a
Weekends live at Morningside. We got people live sitting in with us. Would you guys scoot over a little bit so you can bring the frame there?
is that
Welcome, Judy Eloe. What do we call you? A flight facility assistant manager here at the Morningside Flight Park.
Yeah.
We're just talking about flow and risk, and Gus is kind of alluding to how mathematics, in a way, gets his brain going into a kind of finds flow, and he likes
I
that.
used to.
Yeah. Do you know much about flow, or think about flow, or get into flow? Let's talk flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I was just talking to Eagle about yoga,
Uh-huh.
and we were talking about like meditation and what yoga is because I did a teacher training, so I was trying to like get into that a little
You
bit.
have your yoga teacher training?
I did, yeah.
So,
yeah.
CYT,
but-
hours.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Classes.
When you said flow, my brain immediately went to the last time I feel like I really did experience that. And it was when I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, this last winter. And the whole reason I went out there was to fly the point of the mountain as much as I could.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to all the point of the mountain pilots, Draper, Utah.
Yeah. And the first time I finally made it out there, I didn't even know if I was going to fly, but like everybody was out there, and we got out there like first light, and I helped everybody like set up and launch because I don't really have my own gear.
Yeah. So you're at the south side of the point of the mountain.
Yeah, south side of the point of the mountain.
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning was flyable, like first thing
It's
when we got
cold,
there.
probably.
And it wasn't too cold actually. It was
Not too
really warm winter in Salt Lake City this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everybody was like having really great flights, and it started getting like a little spicy. But like not too crazy. So some people landed, and then I was like, oh, like I really want to fly. Like I don't know if I'm gonna fly. And then Gigi.
Just to be clear, you're on a hang glider.
Yes,
Yeah.
hangy over here. But yeah, Gigi was like, you can use my hang glider, and I had a harness, and so I did all my checks, got ready to go, and a couple people helped me launch, and
Awesome.
like, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I can like do it justice, but it was amazing. Like it felt like there was such an incredible buildup because I had already been in Utah for like a little over 2 months probably, and I had just been like so fixated on like what I needed to do to get in the air, and everything kind of kept feeling like it was not working out and not falling into place. And then finally, like, here I was. And
2 months without a good flight. And then what happened?
2 months without any flight.
What made the flight
or
so
like
incredible?
3 or 4 months.
Tell us about the flight.
So like I launched, and I had a great launch, got into my harness like seamlessly. And like I felt like I hadn't flown in such a long time, but I don't know, everything just like melted away, and I just started doing my thing. And I feel like the first part of it, it was more me like being in my head and, you know, checking my air traffic, like practicing my turns and like playing with speeds and, you know, thinking more. And then eventually, as time went on, it shifted into more just like existing and not really thinking
like you're
at
still
all.
doing that, but it's like going through it.
Yeah, it's like I didn't have to consciously do anything. I just was there and
tapped into presence.
Exactly.
Tapped into flow.
Flying
And your hang glider.
Like before I knew it, like 3 hours had passed and my feet were getting kind of stiff. And so I like kicked my feet out of the harness to like move them around. They were really stiff, and I got nervous that if I stayed longer, like I wouldn't be able to land very well, like because my feet might not work.
Right. Yeah.
And so I went in and landed, and they were like, "It's been 3 hours," and I was like, "No way."
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of like glossed over that, like, and then all of a sudden 3 hours had gone by.
Yeah.
I can imagine laying prone like that, like the blood gets stagnant. I'd be worried that like my legs would go numb or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like the whole bottom half of my body was, it was like very stiff.
So you're plenty warm, didn't get cold, nice landing.
Yeah.
Top landed?
Top landed.
Top landed.
Yeah. Yeah, that day was my first day of top landing, so that was really cool. But yeah.
So best flight, longest flight, favorite flight.
Yeah.
Checked all the boxes for you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How long was it?
It was about I think it was like 3.5 hours.
Okay. Do you know how long distance was?
Oh, so I was just ridge soaring.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was literally just like, on the same ridge for 3.5 hours. Yeah.
But you're going to figure you're doing 20 miles an hour.
Probably, yeah.
So even though you're ridge soaring, if you flew for 3 hours, you probably flew 60 miles.
That's a crazy thing. I didn't even think about it. Like
you didn't fly a straight line, but
Yeah.
you flew that distance, so to speak. Yeah. You're in the air that long. If you'd gone in a straight line, you would have gone easy 60 miles, maybe further.
That's so cool.
Did you get up high?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was like, that was another thing that was so cool. Cause like, I don't know, you're in the wind, you're doing whatever the wind is doing. So sometimes I would get a lot higher. Sometimes I would be a little lower. It just depended on the conditions, but for the most part, like they were pretty consistent the whole time.
What kind of equipment were you on?
I was on a Falcon 170, so essentially a glider just like this, except different colors.
It's a Will's wing.
Yeah, Will's wing, Falcon 170.
Shout out to Will's wing.
170.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like I think what I use today.
Nice.
180. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know anything about hang glider sizing.
It's just like a small one.
They small.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
170
this is the exact same model as what I was training on today, except it's about like twice as or 2 or 3 times as large. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did your second lesson.
Not quite. Not 300. I don't know. Whatever. It's probably. Yeah, I did my. Yeah.
How'd it go?
Good. Very good. Very good. I got like. Actually, the last run was the best, so which is nice. You know, sometimes in learning you regress, and it's nice when the last run isn't the regression one.
Oh, it's the best. I always try and get my students to finish on a good one.
Yeah.
Try and finish on a good
Yeah,
one. Better than trying to squeak out one more and have something happen.
Yeah, you know. So I like launched with like, you know, keep your chest out, like walk, trot, run real fast, run, let it, you know, get into it, and then like as I the cool thing was today for me, like that when I was in the air, it was like not too hard to like figure out like how my movements were going and my shifting of mass was going to affect the wing. It like was all pretty straightforward. It felt straightforward and seamless. So I came down, which yesterday didn't really feel that way, but I didn't get that much air. I got a little more air today because I came off like a little bit further up, like 100 or something.
Yep, 100-foot launch.
So not quite up there. It's more like 75, but and then I like learned to turn, where it was like I was drifting off that way, like, you know, like lean into it, and then it shifted and it was like great, and then my landing was pretty straightforward. So like it came down and then ran it. Yeah. I started to kind of run into it and then like I managed to flare correctly. So when you're flaring, you want your hands on these. You want your hands up a little bit more, you know. So before when I was flaring, I had them too low and just kind of Supermaned into it. Yeah. So
I saw one of your landings. It was a good landing.
Yeah, it was good. And I like right after I landed, I was like still holding the glider and I'm like, okay.
Feet on the ground.
Oh, that's so awesome. Congrats.
It always feels so good when you stick a good landing, you know? Yeah.
I feel like my best landing of all time was at West Rutland last fall. And I was flying really nice hang glider, the nicest I'd ever flown. And I was kind of nervous because I didn't have wheels. And you kind of want to have wheels on your hang glider because anything could happen and you might end up having to come in on your wheels and you don't want to destroy the control frame. And it wasn't my hang glider. So I was, slightly concerned, but I was like, I got this. Had a really, really great launch. Unfortunately, we had thought it was that evening glass off time. But I don't think it quite was because I made one pass on the ridge and then I was like, I think it's time to head towards the LZ because I was not maintaining anymore. So I started heading out and things were great. And I made it over the LZ with plenty of altitude, made some turns around the field and then started my approach. And I don't know, it was so beautiful. It was kind of near sunset. It was kind of golden hour a little bit and it was in the fall. So everything was really beautiful. And I don't know, I just came in on final and I felt so cool. And then I just stuck the landing.
Nice.
It felt really good.
Yeah. What time of year was it?
It was last October, I think.
October. Yeah. So short days. So you're hoping it's going to glass off. Probably got cold
it did
quickly.
right after I landed. So there was 4 or 5 more people right up on launch. And I landed and was freaking out because I had a really great landing. And then 10, 15 minutes later, I saw the next person launch. And sure enough, they just started making passes on the ridge.
Yeah, they're standing.
So I watched everybody else soar for 35 minutes. But it's okay. I was happy.
Yeah, you had a good flight and a good landing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was
It's
very
hard to
proud of
appreciate
my
those
landing.
moments when you see everybody else staying up. It happens to all of us. It's happened to me many times where you're like, wow, that was a good flight. This happened. That was great. This was good. You're all riding the high. I landed safe. Great. I'm call my mom, tell her I love her. And then you look and 5 other people are just skying out and sending you no, I'm so embarrassed. Don't look at me. Yeah. Flying FOMO. It only gets worse. The better you get, the better people you'll meet, right? So the echelons continue to climb in the tier. Okay, I'm this good now. Well, now I fly with these people, and now I'm this established as a pilot. I'm probably going to fly Capo, and then they're this. But it's endless.
It's about the skill of finding the off tracks, right?
Finding the thermals, yeah. There's a lot to it for sure, and staying up in the air. There's dynamic lift, ridge lift, and thermal lift, and there's so many different ways to fly in so many different areas in the world, depending on the topography. But the skill takes time and practice.
Learning to read the terrain and how that's affecting the atmosphere right above it.
Yeah. In the beginning, it's like that, especially when you're close to the ground. And certainly when you're ridge soaring, you're thinking about how the wind is hitting a feature and the undulations of that and where the lift is going to be. And what I always like to tell my students is you're creating a mental map and envisioning the invisible, right? Because you can't see the air, but you can imagine what it's doing. And so the ridge soaring, it's a lot simpler than thermal flying, which are pockets or bubbles of warm air rising. And with the thermals, you're trying to figure out what the triggers are, where the release points are coming from. And so you're hunting those out. And so in the beginning, when you're low, you're going to be looking at the ground. But then once you're much higher, you're actually looking at the clouds. Because as those bodies of warm air rise, those bubbles, those pockets of thermals, they're hot, humid air, gets to high altitude where it's cold, and they condense and they become clouds, essentially. And so then you're looking for what's called cloud streets. So you've got a mountain, the sun hits it, the thermal trigger pops into a bubble, it hits a cloud, and then it floats away. Same thing. Pop, bubble, cloud, floats away. Pop, bubble, cloud. And then you're looking for that cloud street. You're chasing cloud streets in the sky. It's a totally different game. Once you're high enough off the ground, you still look at the ground, but you're not thinking about the ground. You're looking at the ground. You've got your instrumentation, you've got your glider, you've got the clouds. You're looking at the ground maybe for a little bit more fun and just some visual reference once in a while, but it doesn't matter anymore. Cool. Yeah, it's definitely a whole different game. It's a really fun level, and you'll get there much quicker than you think it will, actually. It won't take long before you are thermally more than 1,000 feet over the ground. Yeah, won't take long.
You mentioned dynamic lift a few minutes ago. I don't feel like I've ever heard that term. What is that?
So that's the force of the wind hitting an object or obstacle. It's like ridge lift, right? So it's being forced up in a dynamic way versus thermic lift or thermal lift.
Okay.
Right? So it's hitting an object. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not
a ridge or a house or a tree or a building.
It's refers to any object.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a ridge. Yeah.
Got it.
It could be a barn or a house or a row of hotels or trees or.
Would that include wave?
Say again?
Would that include wave? Is that? Would you class that as dynamic lift?
A wave?
A wave.
Like wave lift?
Yeah.
I
guess it is, right?
It could be, yeah. I mean, air is mostly water and it behaves the same way as water. That's why we have eddies in a river, the same as we have, like vortices and venturi flying in the air when the air wraps around obstacles, we downwind of obstacles and that kind of thing. So it's all a flow, right? It's all flowing. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I love about visualizing the invisible is thinking about how those air currents are moving over the ground and through the air. And it's just this giant swimming mass of, empty space and plasma kind of shooting through the cosmos. I'm thinking as it's warming up and it's changing directions. And
that's actually one of the things I'm looking forward to is through this, I'm going to understand more about fluid dynamics, within the atmosphere and everything. It forces you to pay attention to it, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, and I always felt that when you become a pilot, it changes the way you look at the world. There was you before you flew and you after you flew. Because now you're thinking about it a lot. You're thinking about weather a lot. You're thinking about fire a lot. And you're driving your car around, looking at the mountains. Is that south facing? Is that a thermal trigger? And you're like, oh, could I fly up with that? Oh, this is a good landing. Oh, those are nice clouds today. Oh, I wish I was flying today. Wow, check out those geese and how perfectly they fly. Oh, there's an eagle thermaling. Oh, he's got a gun. He's in the core. He's coring it. Yeah, you're standing there like a total dummy. I used to always think that the circling birds meant that there was carrion, that there was some kind of dead animal or something. But that's actually birds are thermaling all the time, when
I was 15, I took flight lessons. I never got my private pilot's license, and I never soloed. I almost soloed. And then I was kind of learned to drive, and then it was whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Flying is kind of like driving.
I had a part-time job at McDonald's, and I'd pay for my flight lessons. It's
not easy. Paying for flight school or a job at Mickey D's. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
No, but what was cool about it was what I thought was cool about flying was just learning what you're the atmosphere, what you're going through. You're navigating. You're literally navigating. And this is way more the type of flying that I actually like. But you're not. It's not brute force moving through it in a you're a part of it.
Whole thing, isn't it?
You're in an air column.
The quote about if flight was a language, then soaring would be the poetry. Was kind of like that.
Beautiful quote. I've never heard that before. Do you know where it comes from?
I cannot remember where it comes from.
So good. Say it again. If flight was a language.
Flight was a language, then
soaring is the poetry. Oh, well.
Basically
pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I certainly find flying powered aircraft I got sailplane time before I did that. And on a buoyant day, just you get lifted, you can feel, I specifically remember one. we'd just taken off. We were in the climb, heading up to just do some training. There was a big bump under the right wing.
Yeah.
And the temptation to just chuck it into that thermal and start turning was so strong. And I didn't. And it would have been silly too. But it would also have been okay, maybe I should go back to soaring.
Similarly, I started working on my private pilot's license last year. Actually.
Oh, nice.
And I dove in right into the deep end, full steam ahead. I'm going to become a pilot. I'm going to get my commercial license. I'm going to make the big bucks. I'm going to get the good benefits. All my family's going to be flying for free, all the things. And this is my path. And, I love to fly. This is my thing. And I got into it. And, I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot about myself and flying through the process because I was really committed. And I wanted to stay committed almost no matter what, because I had a little bit of that sunken cost fallacy where once I started investing a certain amount of time and a certain amount of money, it wasn't worth it to me to quit. I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to be a failure. But I realized I didn't actually like flying planes that much. And at first, it's so bewildering and overwhelming and cool. And you're learning all this stuff and you're flying and you're launching and you're talking with your instructor and you get to tell everybody, your friends, your family, I'm flying planes and this is what I'm going to do. And for me, my ego kind of get wrapped into the story a little bit.
Yep.
And I got far enough along that I got a couple of my own first solos. And then I got my own first cross-country solos, flying around the state of Maine, flying along the coast, flying north, landing at big airports, talking to the towers, and, feeling pretty proud of myself and the progress that I made, but also kind of lying to myself a little bit that like, I like this, right? Like this is fun actually. And for me, I love nature, right? And like you were saying, free flight, like an immersive experience of like gliding and paragliding where all around you, you're surrounded by nature and the natural world. You can feel the wind on your face. You can see the ground moving underneath you. When you're flying a plane, you're in this big steel box that's making tons of noise. You're wearing the headset. You're absorbing a really high concentration of EMF frequencies, people chattering to you on the radio all the time.
It's like the only thing that's like the same is that you're like moving through the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And even that, it's kind of like flying a car. You're trying to stay flat and level the whole time.
Like if your engine goes out, then you turn into a glider, but that's about it.
Yeah. And it gets to be even a little bit boring. And I remember in some of my long cross-country flights, going a couple hundred miles kind of thing, it's just like,
it's like sailing versus yachting.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're not the same.
I definitely found that the smaller the aircraft, the better I liked it. Like I never got on with 4-seat Cessnas, and me and my dad rented a Cirrus one time, and like it's certainly an amazing thing, a Cirrus, but man, it's kind of big and heavy and really fast.
What does Cirrus cruise at? Like
a Cirrus, a couple of 100 knots.
Yeah,
a bit more maybe on the really fast ones like this. The turbo one. It was just an SR20 that we got, but yeah, it's like it's an amazing thing, but also like not super fun. And like even learning that towards a PPL, I didn't really get on with Cessnas. Yeah, like that always felt like a bit of a truck. It wasn't until I went along to Portsmouth and was training on the vans, like they've got RV12s out there.
Oh yeah, okay.
And those are like really light, really maneuverable, really kind of just flickable.
Yeah.
The Cessna's like the Toyota Tacoma of the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody learns on them. I just didn't do very like I struggled with all of the maneuvers, and then like the first lesson I got in the RV12, I flew basically all of them to PPL standard. It's just it was night and day. So I
wish I liked it more.
Yeah, but it didn't make me want to go, well, now I want to go and fly enormous jets.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother-in-law does that for the military. But
the more I learned about that too, like the commercial aviation aspect, that's just so not my personal style. Working for a corporation and talking to commercial airline pilots about the process and the come up and, being the first officer and how long that takes and how when you're working for a big, commercial company, you end up spending a lot of time traveling, spending a lot of nights in hotels. And, I'm an aspiring young father here. I want to have children and want to get a family and want to spend time with my kids. I don't want to be away all the time. And so that balance just didn't feel right for me. And honestly, I just wish I had liked it more because I thought it was going to be this incredible natural transition. I've been flying paragliders for 15 years at that point. And I still would like to get my float plane rating and actually fly seaplanes because I'm a big game hunter. I love hunting elk and moose in Maine. I'm a registered guide and those kinds of things. I'd love to be able to create like a adventure ecotourism company and kind of like combine all these facets of my life. And take people.
Are you IFR rated?
I'm not.
Or BFR?
No, I didn't get my PPL or anything. No,
okay.
I just got close. Right. I got just enough.
Maybe like at least, maybe just like VFR is good. Like not bad. It's a you got it in your pocket.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to.
Maybe that's not what you want to do, but you could.
What did I need? I still needed to get my night flight.
Okay.
Yep. And I think I needed a few more hours and like needed to get my test kind of thing. And I was close enough, but I started to kind of feel like I was just like throwing the money away, And the more people I talked to, they said it's a race to the bottom. And how are you going to, or, what's the ROI on your investment? And the only way you're end up actually like making a fair amount of money or making back is if you go the commercial route. And so now it's more of like a whimsical dream a little bit, I think, of like one day, I'll finish that and I'll get some kind of and fill in the blank, which I still want that, but not because I love flying planes. It's because I love the access. It's like a tool, like I want to use a tool for a job so I can do a certain thing, not because I love general aviation so much that I want to commit my time in life. I would rather paraglide. I'd much rather paraglide.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any aspirations when it comes to paragliding, like places you want to go, things you want to do?
Yeah, I like to travel and do some flying in various places.
Yeah.
It does seem like
Yeah.
People are opening up like the High Karakoram. That seems like an amazing place.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you follow Antoine Gerard?
I've heard of.
Yeah.
I've heard the name.
He's one of the preeminent pilots in the world right now. He did a really cool navigation where he went from Mexico north through the United States into British Columbia. Essentially did a vol biv, a hike and fly, all self-powered from Mexico to British Columbia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And he has a bunch of the records, and I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I believe he has the world record for highest altitude in paraglider. He flew over, I believe it was Broad Peak, and got over, I think, 28,000 feet. That's in the Karakoram. Yeah. Flying over 8,000 meter peaks. And so he's really well known for flying in that area. That's why I brought him up.
Okay.
Yeah, he set some of the big routes flying through and across the Karakoram.
Right.
Doing vol biv trips through the Karakoram. That's pretty extreme, pretty intense. I'd love to get to that level, but I don't know. If I have kids, I don't know if I want to risk it.
I don't know. I have the lungs.
Yeah. Well, you can fly with oxygen.
Anymore.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. You're sort of landing high.
Yeah. I mean, you got to fly with oxygen, really.
That's what did you say? 24,000 feet? 28,000 feet. Yeah. No, that's
when I lived in Colorado and I'd fly cross country in Colorado, I would fly with oxygen. I oxygen set up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you could wear it, and you'd start with it on the ground or put it on once you're in the air or something like that, because you're going to be launching, somewhere between 6,000 and 9,000 feet in elevation.
Right.
Maybe you're launching as high as 10,000 if you're up on Aspen Mountain or something like that. But you don't really need the oxygen until you kind of get above like 14,000.
Okay.
And so the way you can set it up is it will release more oxygen the higher you go. So it'll release a certain amount at 15, a little bit more at 16, a little bit more at 17, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
They just have it where it can just control what. Oh,
yeah. It's automatically set. Yeah, you're not trying to adjust the lever while you're up in the sky or something.
Is it going by altitude though? Or
yep, exactly. Yep. So once you get a certain, above mean sea level feet, it'll turn on.
Right.
Otherwise, you start getting a little loopy up there. Oh, this is really fun. I think I slept very well last night.
12,000 feet, you have to have it here. I know in Britain it was 10,000 feet.
If
you're over 10,000, you had to. Yeah.
I don't think there's any.
Yeah, there's no rule.
There's no rule?
No, you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
I mean, paragliding, there's no rule.
Paragliding, there's no rule.
I'm thinking sailplane. So.
Yeah.
It was just always 10,000 feet. D-side was like the service ceiling if you didn't have oxygen with you.
No, interesting.
I mean, you might want it above.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how oxygenated your blood is. What's your personal VO2 max? How well can you handle that? Are you acclimatized or not? When I lived in Aspen at 8,000 feet and I'm hiking to 4,000 feet all the time, going up there wasn't a big deal for me at all.
Right.
But if I were to go out to Colorado this summer and start flying at those altitudes, it'd probably be a lot tougher for me, unless I start doing a lot more cardio or something, trying to get my lungs in shape and start breathing more, start doing some deep breath work, so some holotropic breathing or something.
Okay. So you were climbing 14ers then?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So you're the people. I'd been out to
Yeah.
Boulder, but I didn't go above 8,000 feet. So
breathwork's a great way to get into flow state. You guys ever do any deep breath work? You know what holotropic breathing is?
I do not.
No.
I used to free dive when I was.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I'd love to hear about that.
Dude.
Holotropic breathing is, I'll kind of give you the layman's. It's a way to get your body to produce DMT. You know, your body naturally produces DMT, dimethyltryptamine. Familiar with that? Your body produces it when you're born, when you die, and in like a near-death experience, when you're like in a heightened adrenal fatigue and your body thinks that like, I need this little boost to get me through. So your body will naturally produce DMT. And so holotropic breathing, it's kind of like hyperventilating for an extended period. If you were to hyperventilate for 45 minutes, essentially, it's not quite what holotropic breathing is. There's a lot more like practice in how you actually do it. But breathing really heavily for an extended amount of time, your body thinks you're going to die, and then you start to produce DMT. Crazy flow state, energy, breath work, But freediving can be kind of similar. Tell me about your freediving experience.
I kind of did it as a teenager. I was finding that like breath hold stuff was really interesting, and like I could hold my breath a long time and go kind of a long way. And anytime I had an opportunity to go for depth, I would take it.
Cool.
But I didn't get much opportunity to go for depth. It's like kind of a dive pit. But I ended up with like a 4-minute breath hold.
Nice.
Was, for an 18-year-old, that's kind of decent. I get nowhere
that's
near
the opposite
that.
of holotropic breathing.
Yeah. And then learned to scuba dive, and I was out on a dive trip at the Barrier Reef. It was a big family holiday out to Australia, so I was like, okay, I got indulged and got sent out on this dive trip, and one of the mornings, I guess, I went and did a little bit of freediving by myself, which is not a terribly great idea. Was feeling good. Dropped to about 10 meters. Saw a shark. Right, I had my camera with me. I'm like, ooh.
What kind of shark?
Well, now, it was a reef shark. And there's two, right? There's a white-tip reef shark and a black-tip reef shark out there. And one of them eats you and one of them doesn't. And I couldn't remember which one it was that eats you. It was a white-tip, and those are not the ones that eat you.
Not the deadly, not the man-eaters.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But I'm like, I'm trying to get a good photo of this thing. And I'm like drifting down without really noticing, because my wetsuit kind of compressed because I was down at 10 meters. And then my knee bumped the bottom. I looked up. I'd been diving there the day before. I knew it was at 20 meters. I'm like, oh no. And I got there really slowly.
Oh boy.
I'm deep. I don't have any breath left. So I ditched my weights and went out, hit the surface, popped an eardrum on the way up.
Oh boy.
Hit the surface screaming.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, there's a shark. There's blood in the water. I've never got back to a boat faster than that.
Yeah, it was the fastest 50-meter freestyle of your life,
that was, that was.
Did you injure your ear?
Yeah, popped an eardrum. So it slowly got better over the following 20 years, but it was partially deaf on the left for a long time.
Oh wow, interesting.
Tissue. So
interesting. I think what's it called when you come up to the bends? When you come up too fast. Do you know what that is? Like, what is that actually with the bends?
The nitrogen in your
nitrogen.
The nitrogen in your blood.
So nitrogen,
right?
The deeper you go, the more nitrogen dissolves in your blood. So you're at higher pressure. And as you come up too quick, it comes out of your blood.
I mean, maybe it's oxygen too, but that doesn't matter.
I mean, you can bend.
Air is 70% nitrogen.
You can bend on any gas, but it is mostly nitrogen.
Density.
Yeah. I flew and lived in Maui for a long time. I was an instructor living in Maui. And you can actually fly at really high altitude there. You can fly off Haleakala, which is 10,000 feet at the summit. And you can fly all the way to the ocean. Incredible, magical flight. I mean, it's a bucket list experience. Can't recommend enough. It's spiritual. Because when you're on top, the setting, the environment is like Mars. It's just barren. Red rock.
Is that where the
lichens?
The observatories all are? Is that
There's an observatory up there. The biggest one's on the Big Island on Hawaii.
Right.
But there is an observatory up there as well. There's a really unique and cool looking endemic plant species called silver sword. And it looks like the craziest alien, like aloe plant you've ever seen, or like agave or something, or yucca with like these long pointy stems that come out, but it's all silver and like almost transcendent gloss on it. Very alien. And again, only endemic to like the high altitudes of Hawaii. It's the only place in the world that it lives. And it's like the only plant you see up there. And so you launch from 10,000 feet and it's cold. You're going to be down coat, ski gloves, maybe some long johns on your pants, definitely a hat. And then as you fly down, you kind of go through all these different ecosystems.
Yeah.
And first, you kind of get into this like high alpine. There's almost like sagebrush, right? And there's tons of wild goats there running around.
And you're running along the ridge the whole time as you descend through them. Is that right?
Once you launch, you're in the air.
Yeah.
There is a ridge. There's a couple of different ways you can go.
Okay.
Yep. And so you're flying down, and then there's actually a redwood forest in Maui, which is wild. It was planted by the missionaries like in the late 18th century, I think. And so now they're like big old growth redwoods. and you get past this like evergreen forest, and then you get over like the up country of Maui, and this is kind of like the Kula area. It's farms and green and lush, and a very wet and moist, humid environment. Tons of flowers. You can like smell the flowers from the sky, and then you keep going, and it's very interesting. You end up flying over a desert. And so Maui has one of the wettest places on Earth. I think it gets like the second or third most rain of anywhere in the world. And that's where, the trade winds blow across the Pacific Ocean and it gets really wet and really dry on this one side. But then on the other side, in the lee, it's like the wind shadow. It's a water shadow. It's a desert. And they get like, instead of 300 inches of rain, 3 inches of rain a year. Right. Okay. And so you've launched from Mars, redwoods, jungle, farmland, over desert, and then eventually you land on the beach, you land in the ocean kind of thing.
That's cool.
And what made me think of all that is it's like really dangerous for people to go scuba diving.
Oh yeah.
After they've been paragliding, right? Because you're going from like really high altitude. And so not just like coming up too fast, but like going under at all. I've heard horror stories of people dying.
Scuba diving after paragliding?
Certainly scuba diving after paragliding. Yep. And maybe vice versa?
Definitely vice versa.
Definitely vice versa.
You're not allowed to, you're not allowed to get on a commercial flight for 24 hours after you left dive. So.
Yeah, because cabin on a commercial flight can be pressurized at like 13,000 feet or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they like to keep the passengers subdued.
Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah. I love flying in Maui. One of my favorite places in the world. Trying to organize a little trip out there this winter.
Let's do it. That's what I was actually, all this talk about different places, traveling, it had me thinking, let's go out, let's do some trips.
Yeah, there's a classic old school hang gliding club in Maui for sure. I know some old hang glider pilots out there.
We should do a little organize a little trip here.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Get a big posse of people from the East Coast.
I don't know, go to Utah or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of these places with like the 300 plus nice days or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I started asking you, you said the Karakoram.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's an ambition so much as just a dream.
Yeah, it's cool to look at.
Yeah.
Cool to look at. But what's realistic maybe in the next year or two? Where do you think you would go, or where do you want to go?
Just want to call a thermal and a paraglider, man.
Yeah, you go up.
I want to do that. I want to go up.
Let's go up.
Yeah. What am I doing en route?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. And some just cross country.
Yeah,
maybe just cross country. A little cross country would be nice. It seems like a much smaller. Like you've got to have those small environment skills for cross country, at least to get away here. Like sailplane, you come off tow at 2,000 feet.
Yeah,
you go right. Where's the nearest cloud? You put your nose down. You blast over there at 100 knots, and then up you go.
Yeah.
But this is not like that. So that kind of those skills seem.
But
we were just talking about that with
the microcosm of where you're flying in the moment, right? Because a thermal,
that's a good word,
might not even be as wide as your glider, right? Springtime, they can be sharp, steep laser beams of thermals shooting up.
Yeah, we were just talking about that one.
Oh, no.
This is like almost a sailplane type of a thing.
Oh, giant glider. He's going to put it up in the camera. All right.
Here's the park map, by the way, too.
Welcome to Morningside Flight Park.
Here's Morningside Flight Park.
I'm getting a full visual representation here.
About that thing here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that aspect ratio.
Aspect ratio.
Check out that aspect ratio.
I cannot lie.
That's my kind of aspect ratio. Right? High and tight, baby. Let's fly. Nice. That's a good one. Well, I think that's probably a good one to end it on, guys. Gus, thanks so much for chatting with me. Appreciate you coming to live and weekend Morningside. There'll be more of these. This won't be the last episode. And blue skies. What time we get? 6 o'clock. We might get a little evening glass off ourselves here. Let's go fly.